What's good, YouTube? Warstorm here, coming at you guys in another video. Today I'm going to be doing another part of the Intro to series where I kind of profile like a deck that we're getting in the new set, or a deck that's received a pretty good amount of support that warrants revisiting to it. And so this is going to be for Cybernetic Horizon. I'll have more, once we get a more concrete idea of what the set list has, I will be kind of going over it a little bit with you guys to kind of get you guys ready for it. I understand that's something I just like to go over with you guys every time a new set release. It's going to get you guys prepared and ready for release, because Cybernetic Horizon's sneak peek is actually this weekend, and that's one of the reasons I want to show you guys, so you guys kind of know what you're gonna at least be looking for at sneak, and kind of some of the new archetypes in the set. All the way, the first thing I'm gonna be doing is actually doing Cyber Dragons. So I'm gonna be reintroducing Cyber Dragons because they pretty much, some of the new support the deck has gotten has quite revamped the strategy in general. So that's one of the reasons I really wanted to do this, because I did spend quite a bit talking in my last video. So I figured why not, show you guys what Cyber Dragons kind of look like in a modern sense. So starting us off, obviously, this deck is not entirely budget because things like Engage, things like Ash Blossom are in here. However, I do not think you 100% have to play, pay for these cards just to play Cyber Dragons well. Don't get me wrong, Engage is a fantastic card, but I think you can kind of build Cyber Dragons without it if you really need to. The important thing to know is that Ash Blossom can actually be easily replaced if you're on a budget with things like Valor and Gamma, because they are light monsters. So even if you do happen to have Driver just sitting in your hand doing nothing, you can simply discard it for Galaxy Soldier. So that's pretty good. And I do think that you can get away with replacing those with that. I still think Hornet Drone, no matter what kind of player playing Cyber Dragons, even if you're not playing Engage, is still pretty dang good, because it gives you a machine token for both your Genius and your Ziegler here. So that's actually pretty dang good. And that's one of the reasons I do like having it. Having another way to get those Link monsters online quickly is always nice. However, if you don't have the gauges, Instant Fusion and two Instant Fusion and Foolish Burial along with the Panzer Dragon can probably replace some of the space. And you can also maybe play Kaijus like Jizukiru, because it can be searched with a Pear Plant. It's really up to you how you want to build it. It really depends. I do think that you can actually get away with siding the Kaijus as well, depending on. But the main thing is, now that Cyber Dragons have some of this new support, I'm going to be honest, you don't necessarily need Jizukiru to clear a board now. You can clear it pretty easily. With all that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get into it. So first off, we have the 3 Cyber Dragons. We're not going to spend too much time on this card. We all know what it does. We all know it's fantastic. Then we have 3 cores. So core is always been one of the best Cyber Dragon monsters. Upon normal summon, it searches any cyber spell and trap from your deck. That not only includes, of course, your repair plant, but your new cards, your cyber, and your rev system. That's pretty good. Being able to search your entire spell and trap lineup is nothing to sneeze at. And then you can also banish it from the grave when you control no monsters to grab your Cyber Dragon here from the deck. Pretty dang good card. Never, ever, ever play less than 3. It is a machine dupe target as well. Then we have the 3 Hearts. It's the only one of the new monsters I play. The first thing about this card is that whenever the first effect that's on here, it doesn't really matter. When it's special summon, you can make it level 5 to make it easier to summon your Nova Infinity. But the other problem with it is that you can't use the effect search in the same turn, because it's only one of the effects per turn. The main effect you care about, whenever it's sent to the grave by any means, you can add a Cyber Dragon, another Cyber Dragon from your deck or grave to your hand. So if your core is sitting in the grave, you can use the Hertz to grave it back, or you can grab another Cyber Dragon from your deck to continue on your plays. That's actually pretty dang good. I do think that Hertz is a 3 of, also because it is a machine dupe target. It fixes that issue where your machine dupes sit dead because you've already gone through your cores. Now you have another target for it. Then for the other monsters, we have the 3 Galaxy Soldiers. These are pretty staple in any Cyber Dragon deck. You send another light monster from your hand to the grave to special summon itself, which then it searches another copy of any galaxy monster, including itself. Gives you another level 5 to make Infinity, allows you to discard, these guys to, put them in the grave for your Overload Fusion. It's an amazing card, not too much to say. Then we have the Eltonin. I've seen a lot of players disagree on playing Eltonin, but I think you guys need to realize that how easily this card allows you to break boards. So let's say your opponent you're playing against Goki and they have the Trigate, they have a Trigate negation with your extra link. Well, you summon a Cyber Dragon, and the thing is, most of the time with Goki, they don't have a lot of reactive cards, just kind of like monsters that kind of protect each other. So you can then use that Cyber Dragon and their extra link to summon your Mega Fleet here. Your Mega Fleet will be sitting at 3,600. You can then actually activate your Emerging Cyber to search out your or summon your Eltonin, because you have a Machine Engrave. and then you can clear the rest of the board. Basically, it's way too good not to play because it allows you to clear boards with the greatest of ease. An important thing to know against Goki is that Trigate will not be live when you've linked off the extra Monster Zone monsters. That's pretty dang good. Then for the hand traps, you have the Ash Blossoms. You can, like I said earlier, Valor and Gamma are perfectly a good alternatives if you do not have these. I don't have them myself anymore, and it's understandable because the card is kind of expensive, but I just feel like it's kind of the catch-all. Pretty much every deck has one of these effects in some form or fashion. However, you can figure out whatever works best for you. Then for the spells of the one Monster Reborn, I play this and not Soul Charge because, well, this is a go second deck. You want to kill your opponent, so you don't really want to play anything other than, you don't really play Soul Charge because, plus with the new time rules, it's kind of a little iffy paying a ton of life points. Then we have the Merging Cyber for the new spell card. I play this at 3 and not Repair Plant because of the Elton interaction, but the main thing I like about this card is it gives you, it's more consistency and more searching to get that Cyber Dragon out of your deck, and on top of that, if it's negated and sent to the grave, it can recycle itself. The important thing to know is that, however, this effect is kind of because Ash Blossom doesn't negate the activation and Trigate Wizard banishes it. Those are the primary ways this would get negated. So that kind of sucks, but it's still a pretty damn good search card. Then we have the 2 copies of Cyber Repair Plant. I play this at 2/3. It's definitely a card you can max out on because it's not good initially. You don't want to see too much of this in your hand if you don't have any of the other Cyber Dragons in the grave. However, it does have a lot more search targets, so you could definitely swap out the emergency and plant ratios if you feel like you need more of this. But personally, it's always kind of that card where it's like you wish you could play more of it, but it's kind of a little bricky if you go anything above 2 because it's not going to be live initially. Then we have the 2 Rev System. Rev System is a fantastic card, but it needs other cards to function. So that's one of the reasons why you play 2 and not 3. Then we have the 3 Machine Duplications. As good as this card is always been the best play Cyber Dragons have. Being able to grab 2 Cyber Dragons, 1 to 2 Cyber Dragons straight from your deck by targeting a core is amazing. Now you have another target, and you have more ways to get to those targets. There's really no reason not to play Machine Duplication. And if you happen to have already gone through all your Cyber Dragons, you can use Repair Plant to put another Cyber Dragon back in your deck. That's pretty dang nice. Then you have the 3 Overload Fusion. This is kind of like your win button. I do not play Power Bond. I know a lot of you long-time Cyber Dragon players think I'm crazy, but Overload Fusion is just better nowadays. The problem with playing a Power Bond build is that you're basically putting the deck in a very linear position, whereas something like Overload Fusion will usually be live and will usually win you the game. You have plenty of Cyber Dragons in the grave to banish and summon your Rampage Dragon, and Rampage will usually end the game on its own. That's one of the reasons why, don't get me wrong, I think there's something, I understand a lot of players love Power Bond as a card, but I just can't really justify it when, Overload Fusion just seems to be better in most cases. Then the 1 Limit Removal, this is just a win button. Important thing to know is your link monsters here for the Sky Strikers are all machines, so this also pumps them up as well. The 3 Called by the Graves, this could be anything. You could swap this out for other cards if you feel like, but because you are playing this in a very go second deck, so you could play more hand traps if you feel like you need them. But Called by the Grave just is an all-around good card. It can be good both going first and going second, so that's one of the reasons I do like having it in here. The other 3 Engage and the 3 Hornet Bit Drones, we all know how good these cards are and how much we've been seeing them. Engage is you have to play so many spells in this deck, and Hornet Drone's tokens being machine is amazing. So that's one of the reasons I have them in here. Then we'll go into the extra deck. We still have the 1 Chimera Tech, mainly because a lot of the main deck right now has machine link monsters sitting out. Sky Strikers, all of them are machines, and it's also good if you side deck the Jizukuru. It gives you can link it off and make a pretty big Chimera Tech. So that's pretty decent. But Mega Fleet is kind of the new star because some of the better decks always will have something in the extra monster zone, and it breaks an extra link, which is really, really good. It's also when it does link off 2 monsters, it's 3600, so you can use it to crash over Diablos if you are playing against pure Sky Striker, which is always a problem for most decks to get over, and it's really huge. Then we have the 2 Rampage Dragons. The card's amazing. Being able to, you can send light machines to your grave so it can attack multiple times, and then when on pawn fusion summon, it pops spells and traps up to the number of back row number of monsters used to summon it. Really powerful card. Will end games on its own in most cases, especially with a new link monster. Then for the Exceeds, we have the 2 Novas, the 1 Infinity, and the 1 Pallades. I was debating playing Pallades but I do think you still need you know, some kind of defensive play for the deck. And that's kind of where Palladians comes in. It gives you another, it's an easy to make, and being able to bounce monsters is pretty big against decks like Sky Strike, like decks that all use link monsters to start their plays, because it does prevent them from extending their plays. Infinity is still a fantastic card and can be as good going second as well going first. And Nova just allows you to keep extending your plays. Then for the other cards, we have the one Genius. This is mostly here because sometimes you want to, if you're going first, you're going to need a link monster that opens up more zones. So that's one of the reasons I like having it in here. It's also easy to summon with the links from the Sky Strikers as well, because they're all machines. That's the main reason it's in here. You know, you could play something else in this spot, but sometimes you will have to go first, and you want to have it in there for that time period. Then we have the two Ziegler. Ziegler is fantastic. First off, it's counted as Cyber Dragon, which means you can recur it with Nova. You can reborn it with Rev System. You know, it works with all your Cyber Dragon cards. It's amazing. But the main thing you care about, if it didn't declare an attack, you can actually target a machine you control with you know, 2100 more attack, which is, you know, most of your lineup. It'll gain 2100 more attack until the end of the turn, and you will take, but your opponent won't take battle damage with anything else with attacks involving this card. That's the main thing, is you're going to be using this to end games in most cases. So the important thing is it only prevents battle damage from itself, not whatever you target. So if you target something like Rampage Dragon, your opponent will still take damage from that. So that's the main thing you're going to be using it for. You're going to be using it to target one of your fusions, make it real big, and just attack your opponent for game. Pretty simple little card, and it's fantastic for the deck. Then for the Sky Strikers, we have the one Hayate. Hayate is really good because it synergizes with limiter removal. It can attack directly, and that can steal a lot of games on its own. Then we have the two Kagaris. I don't play Shizuku because I feel like it's not really needed when you play the deck as an engine. Being able to cycle back your Sky Strike is always nice. Plus, being a machine for your Ziegler and Genius plays is always nice. So about comes to the end of the video, guys. Today, let me know what you guys think of Cyber Dragons. Do you think this new support really does help the deck and fix some of the problems? Do you think it still needs a few more cards? Let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, I thank you guys for watching. So Orstorm signing out.